So, guys, there was an article on the Motley Fool that says moving money from an IRA to a Roth can be a good tax-saving measure for retirement, something we've talked about many times here on the show. But it went on to say that converting money over while you're taking Social Security and Medicare, well, that could be a disaster. Why would that be?
It definitely can be a disaster. There's nothing better, I think, than tax-free money, and that's what a Roth IRA has the potential to do for investors. But it's not as easy as just converting money over to a Roth IRA. You have to really factor a lot of the things into the equation. That's why we encourage everybody to make sure that you have a conversation with your accountant or CPA and run the numbers. Now that the end of the year is close by, you have up until December 31st if you want to consider a Roth conversion. So the clock is ticking. And if you haven't run a tax roadmap, that's something that our office would be happy to run for you, be able to give you some feedback. Then you can take that information, talk to your accountant, talk to your CPA, and run the numbers to determine whether it makes sense, because not every time we run the numbers it does make sense. Scott, in my opinion, I think one of the areas that catches a lot of people off guard is Social Security taxes.
Sure.
They don't realize that by doing a conversion, that people that are drawing Social Security, the Social Security income shows up, and those numbers can compound each other, thus actually making the tax rates even higher. What we do in looking at the tax roadmap is kind of figure out what a sweet spot is, looking at it on tax-wise. But then the flip into that is that doesn't even take into consider healthcare costs either.
The Medicare costs, or whether it's Medicare. But, if you're under 65, you retire early, you do that Roth conversion, that's going to be a bump in your income, your reportable income, right? So if you're on the Unaffordable Care Act, the reportable income is going to reflect a higher amount of income, and your premium tax credit could be significantly impacted by that, which would increase your premium. And then on the Medicare side, when you're over 65, taking that Roth conversion, increasing your income. If you're on the threshold of the standard income is gives you a premium of 170.10 this year. If you're right on that threshold of 181,000, it could bump you to the next level, and that premium jumps up to 208, and it goes all the way up to roughly 540,000 or $540 a month. So you really have to be aware of where you're at with your income and your your taxes to determine whether or not it's going to make sense to do that rollover. We want to like you and I met and referring business back and forth to each other because we want to make sure that we maximize your discounts in your health care to give you the lowest monthly premium as possible. So those are things that you really need to pay attention to.
There certainly is a lot of upside to doing these Roth conversions, but it could be counterintuitive if you do find yourself end up paying more in the long run, either by doing the conversion, pushing you into a higher tax bracket, or Social Security having to pay that back, or Medicare. So definitely a measure twice, cut once sort of situation. And the team at America's Retirement Headquarters, they can walk you through the process and figure out what is going to be right for you. To get started, 419-794-3030, online, americasretirementheadquarters.com.